Police Commissioner stated, because I heard oftentimes he was quoted, it's like we do, but in no way should we give any indicator that the overwhelming number of migrants and asylum seekers, are law-abiding and they're pursuing the American dream. The disciplined officers are law-abiding and they're pursuing the American dream. The disciplined officers office and the NYPD will partner with each other to pursue those who break the laws in our city. This was a despicable act. It was not only an attack on the individuals who wore the police uniform, but it was an attack on our symbol of justice. That uniform, that shield, is representative of our public safety belief. That's the prerequisite to our prosperity. We did our job in making the apprehension. The district attorney is doing his job of doing the prosecuting, and if they're found guilty and if suitable, the federal government should do their job in deporting them from our city. If you commit a dangerous, violent act, we're all going to do our job. The three levels of government has a role to ensure public safety remains in the city and across our entire nation. Again, I just really want to commend the DA for their discipline, for how they meticulously went through this case to make sure the individuals who are involved, we are apprehending the right individuals for doing a act that we witnessed all. It was a chilling act that all of us witnessed. Again, thank you so much, DA. Thank you for the question. So there's been, I think your word was misinformation. There certainly has been misinformation about apprehensions. Arizona was one. The people arrested there not affiliated with this investigation in any way. That's the information we have from Homeland Security. I can say one of the individuals that in the offense conduct we've been talking about appeared for court in Manhattan on a different matter yesterday, and so.
Hey, just quick, move your car because you are too close on the road. Okay, bye.
So I've seen the video I believe referred to. It's in the public domain. It's disturbing. We're going to do what we do in all of our matters, right? So I think there are people speculating and using that legal phrase, use hate crime. We don't make assumptions. We investigate and look at the evidence. So we'll do what we do in all the other matters.
Officers attacked in this video. Feels like there was a lot missing so far in that briefing.
Yeah, let's bring in Leah Terrell, Jason Chaffetz, and Brian Kilmeade for more on all of this. And Leah, let's start with you. Again, unless I missed it, and I don't think I did, everybody's out with no bail except for one guy. What the heck?
What the heck?
Well, yeah, and thanks for having me,
What
John.
the heck?
This is nothing more than a political stunt. Where has Alvin Bragg been for 3 years? Why is this press conference? I'll tell you why. It's an election year. And
What the heck?
That's why you had the press conference. They can help these individuals. They don't. New York City is a sanctuary city. They don't use ICE. They don't tell ICE anything. And we're supposed to believe that they're serious about crime. And then you get Eric Adams up there who all he does is just talk and talk about more money. Those migrants are illegal. They broke the law by entering this country. So all you saw here was a bump clean up on aisle 15 because it's election year. New York could be in play, and people saw this video worldwide, and they saw law enforcement officers being assaulted, and nothing was done in a city that allows crime to occur 24/7. This was embarrassing and outrageous, and nobody should believe it.
Let's be clear, Leo. And Brian, can we, you're here in New York City with us. Brian, let's be clear. That you could put up a banner. The man who let those men go, that attacked the NYPD, he's the man who let them walk free. And now he's outraged and sickened?
It's unbelievable because you see those two guys walk out and they're giving the finger to the cameras and a smug look on their faces. And when not only are we living here for free, you're doing my laundry, taking down my sheets, giving me 3 bills a day, 2 of which I throw out. Well, during the time to fill the gaps, I'm loading people and I look for cops to get on my bad side, and I'm taking a swing at them. They seem very comfortable going against law enforcement, knowing they'll get out. And how much does that have to do with the video got out? We have this video on Saturday. We have it on Tuesday. Between W every angle on 42nd Street. They have headquarters downtown. You see every block from multi angles. You're gonna have these guys. There's nothing harm in holding on to them as you acquire evidence because it's in our best interest. And now they are picked up and they have gone and it seems as though they misidentified people in Phoenix. Those are not the 2 guys that had anything to do with this crime. Yep, Jason Chaffetz, it kind of reminded me of a scene from that old Steve McQueen movie, The Sand Pebbles, where that guy kept talking about the main steam stop valve, and you had to open that to let the steam pressure up the sand pebble. I mean, that seemed to me to be nothing more than an exercise in, we got all this heat coming down on us, we gotta say something. But they ended up with Seamless saying a whole lot of nothing.
Well, because they didn't actually do anything. Alvin Bragg started off by saying it's the safest big city in America. Are you kidding me? Nobody believes that. You said that Mayor Adams said that he was going to work to get them deported. They're a sanctuary city. They don't cooperate with ISIS, as Leo talked about. And I think the central question is, if it was so heinous, they're beating cops. Why are they not in custody? Why not? And they didn't answer any of those questions. And to Sandra's point too, they should have started off by acknowledging these police officers and giving an update, because America actually cares about them.
Leo, a final thought from you. As we clearly hear the outrage in your voice, you wonder what message, we're sending by, you look at that video of them flicking off the cameras, they don't fear retaliation, they don't fear punishment. That's it. What message are they sending to others who might want to commit the same crime?
They can do whatever they want in Sanctuary City. They are not afraid of any type of criminal prosecution because New York allows this type of conduct. You and John have stated as well. This was nothing more than a dog and pony show. Don't believe anything you see here. They don't care about law and order in New York.
Leo, thank you very much. Brian Kelly, Jason Chaffetz. Thank you. We've got breaking news. That special counsel report we are told has been handed to Congress. This is the report looking into the Biden classified documents. Chad, what do we know?
Well, good afternoon, Sandra. Robert Hur, he concluded his investigation. He is the Attorney General, not the Attorney General. He was the U.S. Attorney for Maryland and was appointed as the special counsel to look into this case of the classified documents with President Biden. We're told that has been sent to Congress. We were getting some hand signals last night that was coming
Yes, it's cloudy here.
What they should have done, they should have sent these to the National Archives, and there and then.
And it's
That's
so
why
quiet
this
too. The
investigation
road is not busy.
has been sent to Congress. We don't know specifically
Not like
what
this
it says.
morning. I was in the highway.
Now on Capitol Hill. So
Interstate is so busy.
So typically with reports like this, if they are challenged,
I am in the back road now, so
what their reaction is they get released from
it's not
Congress.
busy
We
anymore.
expect to see the contents of this.
Well, I would be surprised if you see some leaks imminently. I mean, Capitol Hill is always a sieve. That's the first thing. But there probably would be a release. You would certainly want the people on the relevant committees, the council, the chairs, the ranking members to have some time to look at this. Again, I went to the White House first so they can have their review. They seem pretty pleased with it. And also, there is some, politics in this. Surprise, surprise, it is an election year. You can see where some Republicans might want to say, aha, there's something here that is damaging the president. We want to make sure we get that out. We want to highlight it in that sense. And of course, the Democrats probably would want to comb through that report and say there's something here that kind of exonerates the president or explains, or there's a tangible explanation on something. But we would think that this would come out soon. I don't know if that means today. I don't know if that means tonight. The House of Representatives is not here right now. The Senate is in fact in session trying to wade through this international aid bill. But the House and Senate do not have to be in for this to come out. This will come out through the committees.
Okay, Chad, we're live on Capitol Hill for us on the breaking news. Chad, thank you. All right, it has been one breaking news event after another. We're going to try to sneak in a quick break on the other side. Democrat Jared Moskowitz will be joining us, the Democrat from Florida. We return.
Hello, I'm James Gordon, and I'm so thrilled for you to hear my brand new show, This Life of Mine. Join me every week for incredible conversations and never before heard stories from the biggest stars in film, TV, fashion, music, sports, and more. Each week, we'll be talking about the people, the places, the possessions, music, and memories that have made them who they are today. This Life of Mine with me, James Gordon. You can listen on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Stars Channel 109, or listen on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. As I warned you, 2024 is here. The IRS is unleashed with unprecedented power. Now, if you got an IRS letter or if you sense trouble brewing, well, act now. The IRS means business, and that means bank accounts raided, paychecks garnished, passports seized. They are crushing you daily with penalties and interest. Maybe you're a business owner and you're behind on your payroll taxes. They can come after you personally, and they can even shut you down. Now, for years, you've heard me talking about my friends at Rush Tax. Now, it's the only company that I recommend. Call now, 800-258-7050. So many of my listeners have already called, and Rush Tax negotiated the absolute best resolution possible with both the IRS and the state. Mention my name, and Rush Tax will do a free IRS transcript investigation. Your $1,500 value absolutely free. Rush Tax will only take your case if they know they can help you. Period. Call the only company I trust, 800-258-7050. That's 800-258-7050. RushTaxResolution.com.
Operators is an outdated truck dragging down your success. Save thousands of dollars every year.
Pagawas usap sa akong among hero.
Save now on 2024 Freightliners.
Kay pagkahuman magkuha na sad ko sa akong anak.
Customized structure spec for owner operators. All safety features and advanced safety technology to keep you moving and moving. Plus, advantage of full money down options and warranty protection for the life of your truck space. Explore our trucks right now at sfitrucks.com. We planned our investments well for retirement and wish we had more cash. Don't they know they're sitting on a gold mine?
No, they don't know that if you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, you may be able to sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash. Even a term
Yes, hi. I have a good week. I'm sorry. I just come home quick and then put out the dog to pee pee and poo poo. Then I'm going to pick up my son in school. So thank you for stopping by. I'm on the road again.
By the way, you look at these numbers that came out from the Congressional Budget Office. Now we don't have much time. Spending is going to be running upwards of 10 trillion, 24% of GDP.
So wait, do you regret this whole thing like the economy is great? I was wrong?
The economy has did better than all economists predicted, including myself. But I always said the source was government spending and government stimulus.
Okay.
And here it is. Just look at you're running twice the 50-year baseline for spending and deficits.
Not only
Twice
do I have
the 50-year
FBN breaking news, we'll see you at 4 o'clock on FBN. All right, thank you so much. John, what do you have?
We do have some breaking news. We said that it wouldn't be long now that that report, the Robert Hur report, has been submitted to Congress. The bits and pieces of it would start to come out. We're getting David spun up quickly at the Justice Department. He'll be with us. Oh, and there he is. David, you've been sending out some pretty interesting photographs taken from the report of the condition of the storage facility in which President Biden had these classified documents in his Delaware home. What do you see?
Well, that's right, John. The storage facility was the garage of the president's in Wilmington, Delaware. We have some photographs of those. We'll try to turn those as soon as possible. This is a 345-page report made public by the special counsel, delivered to Congress. As we noted, the White House had no annotations. Let's just get right to it. I'll show you some of the pictures until we can at least get them on camera. You can just see right here, there is a box with classified documents inside the garage of the president. I want to read some passages from it. It says, among the places Mr. Biden's lawyers found classified documents in the garage was a damaged open box containing numerous hanging folders, file folders, and binders. The box, which was labeled cabinet and desk file, was in a mangled state with ripped corners and two of the top flaps torn off. It says in December 2022 and 2023, Mr. Biden's garage and home office, they found classified documents relating to his opposition of what his boss wanted to do with the troop surge in Afghanistan. A lot of these documents relate to that. I do want to point out that it says very clearly on the first line of this, and excuse me because we are looking at this live here, it says, we conclude that no criminal charges are warranted in this matter. We would reach the same conclusion even if the Department of Justice policy did not foreclose criminal charges against a sitting president. There's also a very, very important passage that talks about trial. This went to trial. If Biden was charged with mental fitness, it says, we have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury as he did during our interview of him as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Based
Meantime, our panel is standing by. Andy McCarthy, Saul Weisenberg, and Mark Thiessen. But first, to Fox News Chief Legal Correspondent Shannon Reed. She is live outside the Supreme Court. Shannon, good afternoon.
Good to see you, Trey. So, listen, the import of this, not lost on the justices. You know, normally a case takes years to get here, months if it's really fast-tracked. This took weeks because there are so many other states that are involved with this issue. These justices want to get this issue resolved. There was a lot of wonky, very policy, statutory-driven argument today, but eventually the Chief Justice got down to summing it up. What will happen if this court approves of what Colorado did? Here's part of what he said.
A goodly number of states will say that whoever the Democratic candidate is, you're off the ballot, and others, for the Republican candidate, you're off the ballot. It'll come down to just a handful of states that are going to decide the presidential election. That's a pretty daunting consequence.
And he was not alone in thinking there are problems potentially with moving forward of approving with Colorado's decision to ban the former president from their ballot. Instead, it sounds like they're going to make a decision pretty quickly in this case. And
Now, Shannon Reed live for us outside the Supreme Court. Shannon, thank you. Now, to our other breaking story. The police and Special Counsel Robert Hur's report on President Biden's handling of classified documents. No charges are being recommended. Let's get to David Spot. He's live for us at the Justice Department with the breaking information on this. David.
Hey, Trace, you could call it a busy day in Washington, D.C. We got this report, 345 pages, and while there are no charges, it is still damning for not only President Biden, but his administration. I want to read some very important passages. First of all, let's put up the fact that we have photographs that show Biden's garage, the president's garage at his Wilmington, Delaware home, with boxes, tattered, ripped, torn boxes containing classified documents. You remember he told our Peter Ducey that he kept them in his garage. It's not like they were out on the street, something along those lines. So we know that a lot of these documents had to do with Afghanistan and his opposition to his boss, then President Obama's decision to send a troop surge to Afghanistan. Biden was always against that, so he kept a lot of classified documents related to Afghanistan. I want to read this. It says, quote, "We have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. Based on our direct interactions with and observations of him, he's someone from whom many jurors will want to identify reasonable doubt. It would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him, by then a former president well into his 80s, of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness." This is directly from page 6 of the report, but as I noted with John and Sandra just about 8 minutes ago or so, they're assuming that President Biden either wouldn't run in, for another term or wouldn't win in November, because this would not take another 4 years if he wins to go to trial and get a conviction. So we see picture after picture of documents that are in his garage. Some of the other key passages, it says there is no evidence that Mr. Biden shared classified information with any person. In January 2017, after the end of his vice presidency, Mr. Biden found classified documents at his Virginia home and returned them. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Critical of him, no question, saying that he did willfully take classified documents, but did return them once he thought it was appropriate to return them. And over and over, as we see right there in those pictures, that's that box I'm talking about with the Afghanistan documents in his garage in Wilmington, Delaware. And this all comes at the same time the former president is facing trial in Florida for taking classified documents, but legal analysts, and I'm not a legal analyst, will say that it may be a little bit different because Donald Trump was issued a subpoena. It was over, Biden was not. But after all, this is not good news for the White House here when they're trying to get away from this. And here we go with picture after picture after picture, 345 pages total for this report, Trace.
Yeah, and some of the text is also not very complimentary. David Spot, we'll let you get looking more at that thing. We'll get back to you as the news breaks. Let's bring in our panel. Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor, Saul Weisenberg, former deputy independent counsel, and Mark Thiessen, American Enterprise Institute senior fellow. All are Fox News contributors. Andy, to you first. I'm just kind of reading off page 6 first. We brought you on to talk about the Supreme Court. We're going to kind of do both if we can here. Page 6, as David was kind of giving us this thing, it says, quoting here, I'm not sure we have this on the screen, we have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he
rather embarrassing. And is there any legal consequences to this? Well, the legal consequence is that he won't be charged. You know, that description is perfectly fine if you want to have a sympathetic defendant. I think the reaction of the country is going to be, that's not exactly what we want in our president. You know, you did, as you mentioned, Trace, you did bring me on to talk about the other story. I think it actually all ties together because I can't imagine President Trump having had a better day in the last few years than he's had today. He had a Supreme Court hearing this morning where I think he's going to win 9-0 because the position against him can't be sustained. Then he came out after that was over. When was the last time that you saw somebody who Mr. President, who stood there for 15 or 20 minutes and answered every single question? You may not have liked some of what he said, but he was sharp, he answered the questions. There wasn't any, what the questions were. He stood there for 15 minutes and did it. And now you have a situation where his key theme in the election is that there are 2 tiers of justice. He's down in Florida looking at, I think it's 3 dozen, maybe 40 charges. And the reason that indictment is so larded up is because they've charged him with technical violations of the Espionage Act, which they have now decided not to bring against President Biden. It's just, it's amazing. Yeah, I'd like to get your take on that as well, so absolutely embarrassing in the 2 cases. And you think when you kind of look at the new documents along with the Supreme Court decision, do you find any correlations into what President Trump went through today? Because as Andy said,
I agree with what Andy said. The only real factual difference is the big difference between the 2 cases is that the grand jury subpoena that he used in essentially an obstructive behavior, dishonest behavior in terms of responding to that subpoena. You don't have that in the case of President Biden, and that is a President Trump goes to trial, but he's got a sympathetic panel with some problematic people on it, and this will have an effect. President Biden doesn't get charged, and that former President Trump did.
yeah, and Marquise, and you now politically, because you look at this, and Andy was saying here, you have this report coming out from the special counsel saying that, listen, Joe Biden is just an old man with a poor memory. It comes in the same week he's decided not to do the interview work, and he's literally, and you have Trump answering all these questions. Every single question thrown at him today is answered. We haven't had the president answer questions like that in quite some time, if ever. So you can kind of see where this whole narrative is going from here today.
He tried yesterday to answer some questions. It works out. It was just a long. There's, Larry Hubble was yelling off the side of the stage at the last show, how is this different than Trump? How is this different than Trump? And I'll tell you one way it's different than Trump is that Trump was president of these documents. He had full declassification authority. These are documents that Joe Biden took when he was a United States senator. To have these outside the Senate skin, found in the Penn Biden Center. These are things that he took when he was vice president of the United States. Vice president doesn't have declassification authority. I don't think you can prove that he declassified them with their mind, but the Kim Jong-il letters, he showed the
You know, is that really what it boils down to, Eddie? What was your takeaway on that?
Well, that's one of the things it boils down to, Trace. I think they're actually going to try to stay away from insurrection because there were textual processes to decide this case without getting to that. Yeah, the thing that's hidden on there is something that's very important. Section 3 is ratified at the same time as to enact provisions to enforce the terms. Enough the things that Congress enacted shortly after that comes down to us today in the insurrection statute in criminal law. So it's not like Congress hasn't done this. There's a way to prove someone's an insurrectionist, but not only trying charged has been charged with insurrection.
Yeah, Saul, back to you now, and the documents in the president's garage here. I mean, these were in tattered boxes. They found in the garage a couple of different times inside the Delaware house. Off camera during one of the shots, and look, you can't take these documents as a vice president. You can't take these documents as a senator. As you did, does that change your perception of the treatment of the former president versus the president in the
Well, it adds to of a two-tiered justice system, and you can make that argument in several Look at the D.C. Circuit recently in the immunity case. Forget about the fact that they rejected the president's broad immunity argument. I understand that. But normally it takes somebody 30 days to file a petition for rehearing. The opinion, rehearing in kind of the full circuit, and they automatically stay the case. With Trump, they didn't say it. They said you've got 7 days to stay there. So there are many examples of different standards, let's say, for former President Trump. Other people, and this is just another example of it, and I absolutely agree with Andy. An 8-1 Supreme Court. The only question is how narrow the grounds will be, and I think they'll be fairly narrow.
30 seconds for you to wrap us up on the documents in the Delaware House.
Yeah, so I mean, this is not just going to be tried in court, but also in the court of public opinion. And it's going to be Chris Mar-a-Lago and the documents in the boxes. It's laid out on the floor. The media and of Biden's garage. Millions of Americans are going to look at the two-tier system of justice. We're not going to stand for that. That's why Trump is the White House, right?
Yeah, Mark Jason, Saul Weisenberg, Andy McCarthy, thank you all. Let's go now. White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich is live there.
Hey, Trace. You know, we haven't heard the president speak to this yet. He just left for Virginia. Democratic conference later this afternoon. We kind of expected that he might want to get a few words in on this today because earlier this week, the president said he would take all of our questions on Thursday. We have a lot of them now. This 300-page report. The special counsel notes that it would be difficult for a jury to find the president guilty because of a number of different things that would cause reasonable doubt. A few of them being that he was vice president at the time that some of these documents appear to have been taken, and president at the time that a number of them were found, and also that they cite his age and his memory as a reason why a jury might find him to be, not guilty of that would require, I think the word they used was a mental state of willfulness. So basically saying he's a forgetful old man who accidentally took these documents home, or at least that was the concern that a jury might reach that conclusion. And that was part of the reason why they ended up not putting charges here. There are a couple of things coming out now from the White House. We've just gotten a statement from them saying that they're pleased the investigation is concluded. The special counsel found no criminal charges are warranted. They're citing the report there. counsel report recognizes the president fully cooperated from day one. His team promptly self-reported the classified documents that were found to ensure that these documents were immediately turned to the government because the president knows that's where they belong. Not only was there no obstruction, the president's cooperation throughout his 15-month investigation has been extraordinary. That appears to me to be a little swipe at the president's likely opponent this November, Donald Trump. The simple truth, the statement goes on to say, is President Biden takes classified information seriously, strives to protect it. He spent decades at the highest levels of government defending and advancing America's national security and foreign policy interests and protecting her secrets. As the special counsel report acknowledges, mistakes when packing documents at the end of an administration or Congress leave office are unfortunately a common occurrence. It's happened with every administration, Republican and Democrat, for the past 50 years. Now this investigation has concluded, President Biden plans to take immediate substantive action to help prevent such mistakes and will announce it soon. It goes on to say, we disagree with a number of inaccurate and inappropriate comments in the special counsel's report. Nonetheless, the most important decision the special counsel made, that no charges is firmly based evidence. So, be curious to know what points of this report the president and refute or counter. But as we are pouring through it, there is certainly a lot to digest and a lot to go over, and hope to hear the president speak to that later this afternoon when he returns to the.
Would be embarrassing. That former counselor to Attorney General Bill Barr. I don't know. I mean, you look at this whole thing here, and my question would be from a layman's standpoint, not as a legal analyst, my question, does the special counsel really have the authority to say, listen, or is it proper for the special counsel, maybe a better term, to be able to say, well, at trial, they would probably find out that he's just kind of an old man with a bad memory, and they wouldn't really convict him, and then, even if he win, or he might not win the next election, it kind of, a lot of things, isn't that for maybe a jury to decide? Is that something that you find interesting?
I thought it was interesting that he included it, yes. Certainly it's an embarrassment to President Biden, and it feels like a shot at him as well. But, look, special counsels have wide discretion as to what they can include in their report. You take Bob Mueller's report, for instance. It was my job when I was at DOJ to disseminate that to the press and be there to facilitate their questions after the Attorney General at the time did a press conference. And so, remember that report, Trace? There were hundreds of pages of extraneous information, and there the special counsel concluded that, that he wasn't going to bring any charges against Trump. And we know now that he was trying to set Trump up for impeachment. The point being is that a special counsel can really put in whatever they want in a report and make recommendations or say, look, we think that he will retain this, which I thought was interesting, by the way, that they even said that, but we don't think that we'll be able to convince a jury beyond being ruled out that he had the intent necessary to get that over the finish line.
And I wonder if you think this report also might be beneficial to the former president in his case, because, as Jackie was pointing out, the special counsel said, look, this happens.
This is why I never.
It happens to everybody over the past, every president over the past, every high-ranking official. It happens all the time. And then they're going to argue, but in Trump's case, he tried to fight this, and that's bad.
Yeah, it raises a number of questions. One, I think the average person, and certainly I do, I look at this and I've looked at all of these situations in general, and I always think, why does anyone need classified information once they leave office? What are they doing with that exactly? So separately, I think there needs to be some tightening up of how we do classified information and handling of that in this country. Because clearly, to your point, Troy, I think with the former president, I think that there may be some obstruction issues in his case that distinguish that from Joe Biden's, that perhaps are more analogous to what happened with Hillary Clinton several years ago versus what's happening right now with the current president. But certainly, her did say that they found that he willfully classified information, which I think is somewhat significant.
And lastly, knowing what we know now that's in the report, I want to go back just a couple of weeks to January, and the president said this about the documents being in a locked garage. Watch here.
By the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street. People know I take classified documents and classified material seriously. I also said we're cooperating fully and completely with the Justice Department's review.
A
apologies. That was a year and a few weeks ago that the president said that. But now we hear in this report these boxes were tattered. I mean, they found these things in different places. We know the garage was opened and closed. We know Hunter Biden was staying there. A lot of that stuff really wasn't addressed by this. Should it have been? And are you surprised that this report, while it was embarrassing, was not a little bit more biting when it came to the legal problems of this?
You know, we're still going through the report. It's 345 pages, so I feel like I'll have a better, more well-informed opinion once I go through all of it myself. But yeah, I think what Joe Biden did here was very sloppy. At a minimum, there was tremendous oversight. It's embarrassing. Again, why he even had this in the first place? Why is he storing it next to his car in the garage? I mean, it's just a bad look at whether it's Joe Biden or anyone else. Is this a characteristic you want as part, as for the leader of the free world? I mean, is this this kind of sloppiness? And so I think it's certainly a political problem for Joe Biden, but as we found out today, it's not going to be a legal one for him.
Yeah, Carrie, stand by if you will. I want to go back to the Justice correspondent, 5 pages. David.
Yeah, in the report, Trace, and I think a very important point that we want to make from our colleague, who was the national security background, says that, Biden handwritten notes that he took during the NSC meetings, National Security Council meetings, are property of the federal government. They're not his property, just the same as some of the documents that President Trump took. They're federal government property. So that equates that case in that respect with Saul and Andy McCarthy and others will say the cases are very different, even Kerry as well. But I want to point out something. The special counsel to the Richard Saul, who's essentially the lawyer to the president, said in his last line in his statement, we disagree with a number of inaccurate and inappropriate comments in the special counsel's report. Typically you hear criticizing inaccurate comments, but inappropriate comments. Perhaps this one on page 208 that we found, as you mentioned, it's a lengthy report. It says, quote, in his interview office, meaning the special counsel's office, Mr. Biden's memory was worse. He did not remember when he was vice president, forgetting on the first day of the interview, if it was 2013, when did I stop being vice president, question mark, and forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term began. He did not remember even within several years when his son Bo died, and his memory appeared hazy when describing the Afghanistan debate that was once so important to him. So that might be the reason that we're seeing the lawyer for the president mention that there is an inappropriate aspect to these comments. But special counsel Robert Hur is independent, as Perry said. He transmitted his report to Attorney General Garland, who made it fully available with no redactions at all. And also important to note, the White House had no redactions.
Did you find more about that? David Spun live for us, the DOJ. Thank you. It's William Jonathan Kelly, constitutional law attorney, GW law professor, and Fox News contributor. All those things. Professor, I want your overall take on the documents and the fact that there's no criminal charges, but it was somewhat embarrassing. And again, the special counsel, which the White House counsel is saying is inappropriate to make the comments about the president's memory, his capacity.
Well, of course, the problem with being a sympathetic is not the stuff that makes you a particularly compelling potential president for the next term. The report makes him sound like Vincent the Chin Gigante. He used to show up in pajamas.
We were making some jokes before leaving. Guess what? So my friend, he did this little joke saying, "You got F plus in every subject," and the kid said, "But I got an S plus in lunch."
What does that mean?
That means you got an A plus in lunch, and you failed all your other classes but lunch.
That's so. How are you in school today? Good. What did you eat anyway? Pizza today, right?
Yes.
Oh, what kind of pizza? What kind of pizza you eat? What kind of pizza?
Cheese pizza too.
Cheese?
Yes.
I thought, why no pepperoni?
Huh?
these different
No
efforts to
pepperoni?
prosecute Trump,
Yeah, they
the
did have
effort to remove
pepperoni.
him from the ballot. And
Hmm.
now,
I just like
conversely,
it.
you have the DOJ saying, we just think you'd be too sympathetic even if we brought charges, so we're not going to charge President Biden.
I find it interesting because now
Do you have to
members of
school
Congress
tomorrow,
are saying
right?
that their statements,
You have
Professor,
school tomorrow,
and
right?
what Gerald Nadler saying at the end
The
of
next
his statement here.
Friday don't
In
have?
contrast, talking about Biden and Trump, the contrast is
Huh?
striking. If
Next
Trump
Friday
had
don't have?
cooperated with the Department of Justice
I
instead
don't
of
know.
lying to investigators again and again, he might have avoided at least some of the 91 criminal charges currently pending against him. So the basis, you think, of the Democrats' case is seeming to be, well, look, he didn't cooperate. Had he cooperated, we really wouldn't be here. But the president, or the former president's, basis for that was saying that he was the president, that he had the right to do this, and he believed he had the right to do this. Fair?
It is fair. I have said all along that I consider Mar-a-Lago to be the much more serious threat to former President Trump. He could have cooperated to a greater extent. The question is whether it warranted those criminal charges or simply, or as many of them. Like, for example, they could have charged him with obstruction alone. Instead, they hit him with this long litany of criminal charges. And for critics, it feels like, with regard to Trump, they really throw everything they can at him, really pushing definitions to the limit. And when it came to President Biden, you have this inverse of response where they take narrow interpretations and they take more cautious approach. Now the question is, what would have happened if President Biden could answer these questions, since they had determined that he willfully retained these documents? What would have happened if his memory?
Look, mommy. Oh, what is the electric car? Tesla?
Going into a skiff is a very exacting process.
Yeah, and when you took these documents, who knew? That's the whole point, and I brought that up.
That's a nice car.
The legal panel as well as Karen Cooper.
Looks like an
These counsel to say, listen, his memory's
Looks
bad.
like going to rain.
See that his memory's bad. He can't remember.
Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Little children wants to play. Go away, go away. That's right? Huh? Rain, rain.
Well, now the special counsel has said,
Rain, rain. Rain, rain.
this stuff.
Right, and it'll be interesting to see the trace from what it was used as an effective criminal defense and what is now going to have to be made in terms of
Feeling so much
It
stuff.
certainly helped him a great deal to say, I just don't remember elderly, and I can't even remember the year that I stopped being vice president. To pivot on that point in this campaign is going to be something really to behold, because now he has to argue that no, that's not true. I'm as sharp as a tack. So the disconnect may be somewhat glaring for voters.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, for me, you just got to look at this, and again, I don't have the legal perspective that you do, but a lot of people, just very quickly going back to this, a lot of people that are looking at this, and if you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter, without the legal minutia, you don't look at these cases as Joe Biden is not getting president, not going to face any charges, and yet Donald
I am the
Trump
one
is
who bring you to the
facing
judo.
charges for what they interpret to be the very
Daddy
same
can't make it.
Neutral sympathetic defendant, or that he was other jurisdictions. Doing the same with Donald Trump. However, if you believe that the president
in Israel, the need to pass the foreign policy that says that just 67
Like rain, rain.
I should just
Rain, rain, rain.
President Biden abused executive privilege along with the Trump appointed special prosecutor. Think saying, no, he was sharp last night. He was right on time. It was all perfect, right? And then you have the special counsel saying he can't remember when he left the White House. He can't remember anything during because he's an old man with a bad memory. And now he's trying to pivot to say, well, no charges there because I got a bad memory. But man, am I going to make a great president at the age of 82?
Well, first, I think a lot of people will be surprised to know that just having a bad memory gives you an excuse to willfully detain classified information when
You want me to cook some spam for you, boy?
Huh?
Spam? You want spam? Okay, come on na. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.